Hello and welcome to today's episode of Fly to Freedom. I wanted to cover a bit more about extreme hunger today. I know we touched on it a couple of weeks ago in the episode with Victoria and I, but it's such a big subject and I've never done a complete episode on it, so I thought I would do it. Those who are watching the video, you might see me looking down because I've written lots of notes to back up everything I'm saying in this episode. So yeah, I'm just going to get on then. So first of all, what is extreme hunger? Extreme hunger is often referred to as hyperphagia in clinical settings. It's an intense and persistent feeling of hunger that can occur during the recovery phase from restrictive eating disorders. It's characterized by the overwhelming urge to eat large quantities of food, even after consuming what might be considered a substantial meal. So the key characteristics of extreme hunger, how do you know if you have it? Persistent and intense cravings. People experiencing extreme hunger may feel a relentless urge to eat and often craving specific foods, particularly those that are high in carbohydrates and fats and often thought of as junk foods. A large food intake. It's common for people in recovery to have significantly larger amounts of food than they did prior to or during their period of restriction. This sometimes feels like and can be mistaken for binge eating, but it's actually a really normal response for the body's need for renourishment. Feeling out of control. Many people describe feeling completely out of control around food, as if they cannot stop eating once they've started. And this can feel really distressing, especially when you still have the mindset of the restrictive eating disorder and you have a history of strict control about your eating. And there's also physical symptoms. Alongside the intense hunger, you might experience physical symptoms such as your stomach growling, headaches, dizziness, fatigue, exhaustion, all of which are signals from your body indicating that it needs more energy. So why do we get extreme hunger? The biological and psychological basis of extreme hunger. So the biological factors are hormonal dysregulation. Ghrelin, known as the hunger hormone, the ghrelin levels increase significantly when the body is in a state of energy deficit. Elevated ghrelin levels signal the brain to stimulate appetite. And leptin, which is often referred to as the satiety hormone, leptin levels drop during periods of starvation, and low leptin levels fail to signal satiety to the brain, thereby perpetuating the feelings of hunger. There's also metabolic adaptation, when during periods of food restriction, our body's metabolism slows down to conserve energy. And in recovery, it gradually increases, which requires a higher intake of food to meet the new energy demands. There's also nutrient deficiencies. Prolonged restriction often leads to deficiencies in essential nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and the body may crave specific foods that are rich in the nutrients it lacks, driving intense hunger. The psychological factors. In early recovery, there is refeeding syndrome. This is a potentially fatal condition that can occur during the initial stages of refeeding. It involves rapid shifts in electrolytes and fluids and can cause severe symptoms. To avoid this, in the early days, extreme hunger needs to be managed very carefully under medical supervision. Mental health and anxiety. Because restrictive eating disorders are often accompanied by anxiety and obsessive thoughts about food, the preoccupation with food during recovery may initially increase as the body and brain adjust to starting to have normal eating patterns. And there's the psychological drive to eat, which can be heightened due to the brain's response to prolonged restriction. The brain is essentially reprogrammed during starvation to focus intensely on food. Not everyone in recovery from a restrictive eating disorder experiences extreme hunger, and the intensity and duration of extreme hunger can vary widely amongst different people. There are several factors that influence whether and to what extent somebody might experience extreme hunger during recovery. They can be categorized into biological, physical, psychological, and environmental influences. It can manifest differently in different people during recovery from an eating disorder. These variations can be influenced by a range of factors, including your individual biology, your psychological state, your personal history with food and eating. And for me personally, I didn't get I've just finished a meal, I need to have seconds, I need to have thirds, I need to have loads of helpings. I didn't get having an enormous meal. I got almost continuous eating instead, 24 hours a day, right through the day and night. And I would finish my lunch and then need a snack and then need another snack, and then just find that I was probably only having 15, 20 minutes between eating. And it was almost continuous grazing. But other people have waves of intense hunger that come and go, with periods of normal hunger or even sometimes reduced hunger in between. Some people have specific cravings for certain types of food, particularly those that they've previously restricted, often things like carbohydrates, fats, or sweets. And these cravings can be intense and targeted. Other people might experience a more generalized hunger, where they feel the need to eat a variety of foods without specific cravings. Some people may be compelled to eat incredibly large meals, consuming substantial quantities of food in one sitting. Even when they're feeling incredibly full, they still feel they need to keep eating. Other people, like me, find themselves eating smaller amounts but more frequently throughout the day and night for me, which is often referred to as grazing. Extreme hunger can trigger significant anxiety and distress, especially when you fear weight gain. And the emotional response can sometimes make you want to restrict your behaviors as a way to cope with the fear. But then you can also, on the other hand, whilst you have that anxiety and distress, you can also have a feeling of relief and satisfaction when you're giving into the hunger. It can feel like a huge sense of relief as your body's needs are finally being met. Some people find they compulsively eat, and they engage in what feels like completely compulsively eating, where they find it really difficult to stop once they've started, even when they're feeling physically full. Other people try and maintain a sense of control and eat still within a structured or planned manner, but larger quantities. Extreme hunger also will bring frequent digestive discomfort, and some people experience discomfort such as bloating, gas, stomach pain, nausea, feeling generally almost in pain, like you're so full it's hard to move. Other people actually find that it helps their digestion normalize, and it improves as they eat more, with symptoms like constipation and slow digestion resolving as their intake increases. Psychological and cognitive manifestations. I'm proud that I said that in one go, actually. Preoccupation with food. For me, this was right through the eating disorder as well. I was constantly thinking about food, as many, many, many people are. And that can suddenly seem to switch up a gear when you're experiencing extreme hunger and go into a heightened preoccupation with food, where You literally can barely think of anything other than food. It's the dominating thought. It makes it hard to focus on any other activities. Conversely, some people might actually find that they're more mindful about their eating habits, and it enables them to pay closer attention to the hunger and fullness cues as they learn to communicate with their body better. Why do some people get it more than others, or not at all? There's different factors that affect the experience of extreme hunger. And I've had clients saying to me, will I get it? Won't I get it? Why would somebody get it? Why have I got it? And lots of factors come into play here. The severity and duration of restriction. If you experience severe malnutrition or prolonged periods of restriction, you're more likely to experience extreme hunger, as your body urgently seeks to replenish the depleted energy and nutrient stores. The longer the period of food restriction, the more significant metabolic and hormonal adaptations your body had to make, which can intensify the experience of extreme hunger during refeeding. Your individual metabolism. People have varying metabolic rates, and those with faster metabolisms may experience more intense hunger as their bodies require more energy to function and repair. And there's the metabolic adaptation. The degree to which your metabolism slowed down during restriction can affect the intensity of hunger during recovery. So greater metabolic slowdown may lead to stronger hunger signals as the body works to normalize its functions. For me, prior to getting the extreme hunger, I had no hunger signals that I was aware of, that I recognized as hunger signals. And then when the extreme hunger came in, that was really when I learned how to recognize hunger signals and how to respond to them, and how to allow my body to start to feel safe and show that I was listening to her. There are psychological factors. People with higher levels of anxiety, depression, or obsessive compulsive traits may experience more significant distress related to hunger and eating, which influences their perception of the hunger. So it's not necessarily that their hunger is greater than somebody else's. It's that their perception of the hunger makes it feel bigger to them. There is the eating disorder cognitions. The presence of the eating disorder thoughts and behaviours, such as the fear of weight gain and rigid food rules, can affect how you respond to the hunger cues. Nutritional deficiencies, specific deficiencies in essential nutrients due to prolonged restriction, can drive cravings and hunger for specific types of food, particularly those rich in the deficient nutrients. And the overall nutritional status at the start of recovery impacts how strongly the body signals the need for replenishment. Also, physical activity levels. Exercise history. People who had high levels of physical activity during the eating disorder may have different energy needs and hunger signals compared to those who were more sedentary. And your current activity also influences hunger. People who are doing more may experience heightened hunger as their bodies require more energy. Psychological and emotional support is really, really important, because it is a really difficult time to go through. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm doing this episode, because it's scary. It's scary to feel that you're so out of control, to feel that somehow this is wrong because it's not what you're used to and it's not what other people do. And so having access to support, a coach, a therapist, a group, and doing your research can really, really, really help you and help you manage your emotional responses to the hunger and eating. Also, your genetics. Genetic factors can influence how your body responds to starvation and refeeding, and it affects the hunger and satiety signals. And your past history, including your experiences with food, weight, and body image, can shape the recovery experience and, again, your perception of the hunger. So, whilst extreme hunger is a common experience in recovery from restrictive eating disorders, it isn't universal. Various factors, including the severity and duration of restriction, individual metabolism, hormonal changes, psychological factors, nutritional deficiencies, physical activity levels, and the availability of support can influence the presence and intensity of extreme hunger. And understanding all these factors can help tailor your recovery approach to meet your own unique needs and help you have a smoother and more effective recovery process. So questions I've had are, should I do more exercise to compensate for eating so much? And the answer is no. Definitely no. Using exercise to compensate for increased eating, especially during recovery from a restrictive eating disorder, is problematic and counterproductive. And here's why. The risks of compensatory exercise is an impaired recovery. Excessive exercise hinders the recovery process by increasing the body's energy deficit, delaying the restoration of weight and overall health and healing. Injury and fatigue. Over-exercising leads to physical injuries, fatigue, and a weakened immune system, making the body more susceptible to illness. Intense exercise also increases nutrient requirements, which, if not adequately met, can lead to further deficiencies and health complications. Compensatory exercise can become compulsive, leading to exercise addiction, where you feel compelled to exercise regardless of physical or emotional well-being, which also increases your anxiety. And relying on exercise to counteract food intake increases anxiety and perpetuates a cycle of guilt and compulsion, which actually reinforces the eating disorder behaviours. So if you want to exercise in recovery and it's not compulsive and whoever's helping and supporting you agrees that it's an okay thing to do, it should be gentle, enjoyable physical activity that is beneficial for your mental or physical health and should not interfere with the primary goal of recovery. It should never be used as a tool to offset your food intake, but just as a means of enhancing your overall well-being, improving your mood and supporting a healthy lifestyle, like going for a beautiful walk in nature and just being present in the now, having fun playing with your dogs if you have dogs. So low impact, enjoyable activities like walking, yoga, gentle stretching, which are less likely to strain the body. And when I say yoga, I mean the gentle types of yoga, not the high intensity yogas, not the strength yoga and there's really challenging ones. So mindful movement, activities that promote mindfulness and body awareness, again, like gentle yoga or Tai Chi, can help you reconnect with your body in a positive way. Listen to your body, prioritize rest, and listen to your body's signals. If you're feeling tired or unwell, then it's really important to rest rather than push through and do exercise. And another thing that's really, really important is to be able to be flexible with your exercise routines, allowing for changes based on how your body feels each day. So, changing your perspective for a healthy relationship with exercise. Enjoyment over compensation. So focus on activities that bring joy and relaxation rather than ones that burn calories or compensate for eating. Health and well-being. Emphasize the overall benefits of physical activity for health and well-being rather than as a means to control your weight. So using exercise to compensate for increased eating during recovery from a restrictive eating disorder is not advisable and can be harmful. Instead, having a balanced, moderate approach to gentle physical activity, preferably under professional guidance, can support overall recovery and well-being. The primary focus needs to be on healing your body, your mind, and developing a healthy relationship with food and finding joy in movement without using it as a compensatory tool. The next question is, but I'm so scared of this hunger and weight gain though. Experiencing extreme hunger during recovery generally is a highly distressing and conflicting experience, particularly when there's a significant fear of weight gain. So let's look at the emotional and psychological challenges associated with this phase of recovery. So the fear and anxiety, fear of weight gain, one of the most common and intense fears in people with a restrictive eating disorder is the fear of gaining weight. And this fear can feel overwhelming when extreme hunger compels you to eat more than you're comfortable with. Anxiety about eating. The intense and persistent hunger signals can lead to anxiety around meal times and eating in general. And the fear of losing control or perceived control over eating can exacerbate this anxiety. Guilt and shame. Many people feel really, really guilty for eating what they perceive as excessive amounts of food, even though it is necessary for a recovery. This guilt is normally rooted in the ED's internalized rules and beliefs about food and body image. Shame about hunger. There can be such a sense of shame associated with feeling extreme hunger, as it may be perceived as a sign of weakness or lack of willpower, despite actually being a normal and healthy response to renourishment. Conflicting thoughts. Extreme hunger can lead to cognitive dissonance, where you struggle with conflicting thoughts. The biological urge to eat versus the eating disorder fear of weight gain. This internal conflict is mentally exhausting. Some people may try to rationalize their hunger and seek ways to suppress it, which can lead to further distress and complicate the recovery process. A perception of control. Restrictive eating disorders often provide a sense of control over food and body, and extreme hunger can disrupt this perceived control, making you feel vulnerable and out of control. The fear of binge eating or overeating can be heightened, even though responding to extreme hunger is a necessary part of recovery and very different from binge eating disorder. So ways to cope with this is educate yourself, learn about extreme hunger, understand the biological and psychological reasons for extreme hunger, and this can help reduce the fear and guilt. Know that this phase is temporary and crucial for recovery, and that can provide reassurance. Normalize the experience. Recognizing that extreme hunger is a common experience amongst those in recovery can help you feel less isolated and more understood. Get support. Coaches, therapists, working with eating disorder specialists can provide guidance and support and help you develop coping strategies and reassurance. You could also have a structured eating plan which will help you manage the extreme hunger. So scheduled meals and snacks throughout the day, 3 meals, 3 snacks, can help alleviate some of the intense hunger cues because your body can start to feel safe and know that she is going to get food at least 6 times a day, but still respond to the hunger as well. So having that structured eating plan can help manage it and ensure consistent intake. but also allow yourself to honor the hunger. Try eating slowly and paying attention to your hunger cues and your fullness cues can help you reconnect with your body. Self-compassion is like everything. It's so crucial. Recognize that responding to the hunger is an act of self-care and it's not a failure. And that can help reduce the negative emotions. Using techniques such as deep breathing, journaling, or just simply doing some relaxing activities can help manage the anxiety and distress related to extreme hunger and eating. Shift the focus from your weight and body shape to your health and well-being. Emphasize the importance of nourishment for physical and mental recovery, and this can change your perspective on food and eating. So experiencing extreme hunger during recovery is a challenging and often distressing experience due to the intense fear of weight gain. But learn to understand the biological necessity of responding to hunger, have professional help, and look at practical and emotional coping strategies can help you navigate this very difficult phase. Bringing in compassion to recovery can ultimately lead to a much better relationship with yourself, food, and your body. Another question is, why is it okay to eat in excess in recovery, despite societal messages telling us we should have this, we should do that? So it's all about understanding your needs in recovery, because it's not the same as somebody who hasn't been living in a restrictive eating disorder. So there's the biological imperatives such as nutritional replenishment. After a period of restriction, your body is in a state of deficit, and eating in what feels like excess helps replenish the essential nutrients, restores muscle mass, and repairs the tissues. There's the energy needs. Your body's energy needs are significantly higher during recovery to support the healing processes, including normalizing your metabolic rate, hormonal balance, and organ repair. You've got hormonal adjustments as well, and hormones like ghrelin, which stimulate appetite, and leptin, which signals satiety, are often imbalanced due to the restriction. Eating more helps rebalance these hormones over time. And there's a lot of societal misconceptions as well, like diet culture, this thin idealization. Society often promotes the idea that thinness is synonymous with health, success, and beauty, which leads to a fear of weight gain and isn't even true anyway. Calorific restriction. Popular diets and fitness programs emphasize calorie restriction and portion control, which is harmful and unrealistic, especially for those in recovery from an eating disorder. And then there's this health versus appearance. People seem to focus hugely on appearance. Society often prioritizes appearance over health, promoting the idea that being lean is the ultimate goal, regardless of the potential health consequences, which leads to health misconceptions because people are unaware that health encompasses a broad range of factors, including mental well-being, metabolic health, and nutrient adequacy, not just weight or body size. So why is eating excess beneficial in recovery? It's necessary to restore weight to a healthy level, repair body tissues, and recover from malnutrition-related damage. For your mental health, adequate nutrition supports your brain function and mental health, and it reduces the symptoms of anxiety, depression, and obsessive thoughts related to food and body image. Allowing yourself to eat freely breaks the cycle of restriction and binging, and it helps to normalize hunger and fullness cues, leading to more balanced and intuitive eating patterns over time. It also, when you respond to your hunger signals, can reduce preoccupation with food, making it less of a focal point in your life. So how to cope with societal pressures is educate yourself, understand the science behind recovery and why eating more is necessary. And this can provide you reassurance and counteract society's messages. And challenge the misconceptions. Learn to identify and challenge the myths about dieting, weight and health, and recognize that these messages are often driven by profit, not health. Self-compassion is incredibly important. Remind yourself your body deserves nourishment and care. Recovery is a unique and social journey, and that may not align with societal norms. Redefine what health is, shifting your focus from appearance to overall health, including physical, mental, and emotional well-being, can really help, as can celebrating non-weight related victories, such as improved energy levels, better mood, increased strength. So eating to excess during recovery is necessary and a healthy response to your body's needs, despite societal messages that often promote restriction and thinness. It's important to prioritize your health and well-being over appearance, and understanding the reasons behind extreme hunger, getting support from a coach or a therapist, and bringing in self-compassion helps you navigate the challenges of having extreme hunger in recovery. What if it goes on forever? Like, I'm going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm going to eat more and more and more forever and ever, and I feel like I'm going to be like Violet off of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I don't actually know anyone that hasn't had these fears when they're going through extreme hunger. I know I certainly did. Most of my clients have had them. It is temporary. Reassure yourself that extreme hunger and weight gain during recovery is temporary. And you can find reassurance in understanding the biological processes. There's the replenishment phase. Initially, your body is in a state of nutrient and energy deficit due to the prolonged restriction. Extreme hunger is a natural response to replenish these deficits. And once the body begins to restore and repair itself, hunger signals will gradually normalize. During recovery, hormones that regulate hunger and satiety, such as ghrelin and leptin, are often out of balance. And as the body reaches a more stable state of health, these hormones will stabilize and reduce the intensity of the hunger. With consistent and adequate nutrition, your metabolism will adapt and eventually normalize. And this means your body's energy needs will stabilize and extreme hunger will subside. And there's the set point theory. Your body has a natural weight range for you, often referred to it as a set point. And this is where it functions optimally. And once this range is reached, your body will naturally regulate appetite and energy expenditure to maintain it. So let's just understand a little bit more about the set point weight. It's a natural weight range. The set point weight is the concept that each person's body has a natural weight range that is biologically and genetically predisposed to maintain. This range varies among different people and is influenced by factors like genetics, hormones, and lifestyle. The body actively works to maintain this set point through various physiological mechanisms, including your metabolic rate adjustments, hunger and satiety signals, and energy expenditure to achieve homeostasis. There are biological mechanisms. of leptin and ghrelin, the hormones that play the crucial role in regulating appetite and energy balance. Leptin is produced by fat cells, and it signals the brain to reduce appetite when the stores are sufficient. And ghrelin, produced in the stomach, stimulates hunger. In a balanced state, these hormones help maintain weight at the set point range. Insulin, a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels, also plays a role in fat storage and energy utilization, influencing your body weight stability. There's metabolic adaptations. Basal metabolic rate, BMR, the body's metabolism can speed up or slow down to maintain the set point weight. If a person consumes fewer calories than needed, the body may slow down the metabolism to conserve energy. Conversely, if more calories are consumed, the metabolism can increase to burn off the excess. And the body adjusts its energy expenditure in response to changes in food intake and activity levels. This includes variations in non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is NEAT, which encompasses all the activities that burn calories outside of formal exercise. So the factors that will influence your set point weight are your genetics, which play a significant role in determining your set point weight. Studies have shown that weight and body composition can be influenced by genetic factors, which account for a substantial portion of the variability of body weight amongst individuals. Your early development, your childhood nutrition, so early life experiences, including nutrition and physical activity during childhood and adolescence, can influence the set point weight. Undernutrition or overnutrition during these crucial periods can affect metabolic programming and long-term weight regulation. Lifestyle and environment, diet and exercise. While genetics set a baseline, lifestyle factors like diet quality, physical activity, sleep, and stress management can influence where your weight settles within your set point range. Environmental factors such as access to healthy foods, socioeconomic status, and cultural influences, which can impact eating behaviours and physical activities, thus affecting weight. Weight stability, your body's tendency to maintain its set point weight, means the significant deviations from this range through restrictive dieting or overeating often trigger compensatory mechanisms to return to the set point weight, which is why repeated dieting and weight cycling can disrupt the body's ability to regulate weight naturally, leading to metabolic adaptations that make it harder to maintain weight loss or prevent weight gain. Recovery from eating disorders, restoration of set point. During recovery from an eating disorder, the body works to restore weight to its natural set point. This process may involve periods of increased hunger and weight gain as the body seeks to replenish depleted energy stores and repair damage caused by malnutrition. So the concept of set point weight highlights the body's natural ability to regulate its weight within a genetically and biologically determined range. This regulation involves complex interactions between hormones, metabolism, and lifestyle factors. Understanding and accepting one's set point weight is crucial, especially in the context of recovery, as it supports a healthier relationship with food and body image. Recognizing that set point theory can promote a more balanced and sustainable approach to weight management and overall well-being is so important. The next question I had was, isn't it lazy and greedy to just sit around eating junk food? And yeah, it is common to have concerns about eating habits and physical activity, especially when we live in a society that stigmatizes certain foods and body types. But it's really important to approach recovery from an eating disorder with compassion and understanding. Here's why it is not lazy or greedy to eat, including so-called junk food, during recovery. Understanding the recovery process. There's a biological necessity of replenishment, as we've spoken about before, which includes the nutrient restoration to give your body the variety of energy and nutrients to heal, and the energy needs to restore normal functions, repair tissues, and reach a healthy weight. Psychological healing. Breaking the food rules to live in food freedom. Recovery involves breaking free from the strict food rules and allowing yourself to eat a variety of foods, including those you previously labelled as bad or junk. It's really important to normalise eating patterns and reduce food-related anxiety. Reducing your guilt, allowing yourself to eat without guilt, is a key part of psychological healing. And it helps reduce that power that food once held over your emotions and mental state. The societal myths. So look at the misconceptions about laziness and greed. Your body's needs. Extreme hunger is a survival mechanism. So eating more and craving high energy foods is a natural survival mechanism after deprivation. And it's the body's way of ensuring that it gets the necessary, essential nutrients and energy. And it's not a moral issue. Eating and body weight are not moral issues, and labeling yourself as lazy or greedy for eating disregards the complex biological and psychological needs at play. And then there's the role of so-called junk food. So stop the demonization of food, because all foods fit. In a balanced diet, all foods have a place. And this so-called junk food can provide really quick energy, be gentle on the stomach, and part of a varied and satisfying diet. Allowing yourself to eat previously unrestricted foods can help reduce cravings over time and promote a more balanced approach to eating. So it is neither lazy nor greedy to respond to your body's needs during recovery. Understand the biological and physiological reasons behind extreme hunger and the desire for a variety of foods, and this can help reframe those negative thoughts. Another question I had, actually myself and have had from other people, was, am I not setting myself up for a lifetime of bad habits, particularly with snacking, especially night snacking? So honouring your hunger, including snacking at night, which I did up to 5 times a night, actually, when I had the extreme hunger. This is an important part of recovery, and it's really important to look at the common concerns about late night eating and bad habits, because snacking at night can actually be a healthy and necessary part of recovery. It addresses your immediate needs, replenishes energy and nutritional deficit, and allows your body to start feeling safe, to know that the famine is over and there is complete access to food. Ignoring those hunger cues, even at night, can perpetuate restrictive behaviours and hinder your recovery. So honouring these cues helps normalise your relationship with food. It also helps break the rigid rules that the eating disorder sets up for us. So allowing yourself to eat when you're hungry, regardless of the time, is a step towards a healthier way of listening to your body and honouring your hunger cues whenever they occur, and connects you to your body's natural signals. It's temporary. Understand that the increased hunger and need for the nighttime snacking are temporary and specific to the recovery phase. As your body heals, your hunger patterns stabilise. And as you progress in recovery, your body's signals become more regular and the need for nighttime snacking naturally diminishes. You can again also ensure that you're having enough food during the day, a minimum of 3 meals and 3 snacks. to make sure that your body is getting nutrients it needs, which might help reduce the intensity of nighttime snacking. And you could consider having a small snack or any snack in the evening as part of your routine to help you not wake up so much during the night. I also actually found I had different hunger signals at night, and it was more a restlessness, particularly in my legs, that didn't go away until I ate. And so I would toss and turn, and my legs would feel like they wouldn't settle, and I just couldn't settle. I couldn't get to sleep even though I was exhausted. And as soon as I ate, then I could go straight to sleep. And so the whole restlessness in the night for me and for many of my clients is a hunger signal. So honoring your hunger, including nighttime snacking, is an essential part of recovery. It helps normalize your relationship with food, ensures your body gets the necessary nutrients for healing. So I'm just going to end with a few tips on how to cope emotionally with extreme hunger. Surrender, accept the process, understand that it's a normal and necessary part of recovery. This acceptance helps reduce the fear and guilt associated with eating large amounts of food. Get support, work with a coach like me or a therapist to get guidance and reassurance. Professional support helps address both the physical and emotional aspects of recovery. Educate yourself. This is so important. Learning about the biological and psychological reasons behind extreme hunger can provide clarity and reduce fear. Knowing that this is a temporary phase is comforting. Self-compassion, self-compassion, self-compassion. In every single part of recovery, it's one of the most important things. So be kind to yourself and recognizing that responding to the hunger is a form of self-care. Avoid self-criticism and acknowledge the courage it takes to follow through with recovery. You're doing really well. Maintain a structured eating schedule as well as responding to the hunger. Having regular meals and snacks helps stabilize your eating patterns and reduces anxiety around food. Consistency in eating helps to normalize the hunger signals. Distract and engage in enjoyable activities. Find activities you enjoy and that can take your mind off food when you're not physically hungry. This can help manage obsessive thoughts about food. So in conclusion, extreme hunger is a natural and essential part of the recovery process. Understanding its biological and psychological underpinnings can help in coping with the intense hunger and the emotional challenges that accompany it. With professional support, self-compassion, and the right strategies, you can navigate this successfully and move towards a healthy relationship with food and your body. So I hope that's been helpful and that you can just accept this is normal. Many people in recovery get this extreme hunger. I certainly did. Many of my clients do. If I can help in any way, reach out to me. I think I have one-to-one coaching space left. So grab it. And I'm so grateful to you for listening, for being here, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.